Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, Debra joins us. She's the mayor of Henderson, running for lieutenant governor, and here for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Why do we keep sending Mark Amodei to Congress? Amodei voted to grant benefits and citizenship to illegal immigrants. He funds Planned Parenthood, over $600 million per year, and his reckless budget votes have caused painful inflation. Amodei was silent on defunding the police, COVID vaccine mandates, and eliminating election safeguards. Is this a voting record you want from your congressman?
My name is Danny Tarkanian. I'm running for Congress, and I approve this message.
Pro Group Management is the place where companies can find workers' comp solutions that are designed to meet their specific business requirements. As regulations evolve, Pro Group takes a proactive approach to clear the path to make sure your business stays ahead of the curve. Knowing your workers' comp program is optimized, you can focus on other important matters related to your growing business. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Do you play golf? The Optimist Club of Reno is hosting the inaugural Ray Pezzanella Memorial Charity Golf Tournament on June 3rd at the Lake Course at Red Hawk Golf and Resort. For more information, go to pezgolf.org. Funds raised go to benefit local children's programs.
What do you count on? You count on your power every day. At NV Energy, we've always powered what's important to you, but we're not looking at the past. We're focused on the future. While our standards are high, our rates will remain low. And our commitment to renewables isn't just meeting standards, but leading the way. Because you can count on more than just your power. You can count on the company who brings it to you. That's our promise. You can count on it.
Nevada Newsmakers Studio is located at the headquarters of the Nevada Trucking Association. Motion and purpose are a truck's greatest virtue.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're delighted to welcome in person this time Debra. She's the mayor of Henderson, Nevada. Pleasure to have you back on the program.
It's so wonderful to be with you today.
Thank you. Let's start out with, for those especially in Northern Nevada that may not be that familiar with you, you're running for lieutenant governor, yes. But tell us what you consider to be your greatest successes in the city of Henderson.
Well, thank you for asking. And of course, running for lieutenant governor, it's important that leadership and experience matter. And I think my experience and the accomplishments that I've seen in the city of Henderson have been second to none. We're the second largest city in the state of Nevada with a population of 350,000 residents.
Reno's not happy about that.
No,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Sure. But we are the second safest city in America, actually. We afford our residents a wonderful quality of life. We have Parker Trail within a 10-minute walk, and that's a commitment we've made to our residents so that people will get out and exercise, be physically active. We've worked very hard to diversify the economy in Henderson. We've brought in companies like Haas Automation that's bringing in 2,500 jobs at $60,000 a year with benefits. Google has brought in 250 jobs at $65,000 a year. With benefits, and of course that's been a commitment, is to raise the quality of life for all of our residents and those that choose to live, work, and play in our community. We really want this to be an exceptional place. And then of course, as not only am I mayor of the city of Henderson, I actually am the chair of the Regional Transportation Commission for Southern Nevada and the Regional Flood Control District as well.
Okay, so let's talk about RTC for a second.
Yes.
With all this money coming in for infrastructure, what do you want to see the RTC moving ahead on? Because a lot of what I've heard from talking to various government officials is fixing the things we have rather than exciting things that we could push into the future.
You know, one of the aspects of the RTC is it's the Metropolitan Planning Organization for all of Southern Nevada, and under the Metropolitan Planning Organization is Southern Nevada Strong, which is the first federally recognized regional plan for all of our community. And we've really been working hard on how we attract different types of transit opportunities for our residents. And in fact, when we did a survey, we actually surveyed 60,000 folks in our community to find out what their priorities were. We heard from them that transit was an important priority, employment opportunities, good paying jobs was an important priority, and education, that these were the areas that they wanted to see improved upon in our community. And I know in Henderson, we actually received Pete Buttigieg was in our community last fall and brought us a check for $40 million. And we're working on redesigning and reimagining the Boulder Highway, which is the #1 road for road deaths in our state. And we're looking at center running transit with 2 lanes of traffic, side separated bike lanes so that it's protected for people who are riding bikes. And then the remaining land will be in NDOT's hands, but as I understand, they're planning to privatize that land, which could then be used for affordable and workforce housing in our community.
Let's talk about affordable housing in a bit, but I did want to talk about the Boring Company. We're about, obviously they've completed their work under the convention center, and that's been operational for a year now. We're getting very close to Resorts World having their link, and then right behind that should be Wynn, although we haven't really heard much publicly about that. But the big plan is to go all under the Las Vegas tourism areas. But what people have said to me is, okay, well, why doesn't the Boring Company extend it all across southern Nevada? Is there any discussion about that?
Well, I don't know that the Boring Company has really been partnering with the RTC. I think they've been partnering with Clark County to accomplish their goals. I think that there's probably still issues around safety and public safety and making sure that there's appropriate exits, that there's fire suppression and things like that. So I think there's still some work being done on that.
Okay, affordable housing. This is the biggest problem. I mean, look, it's not just affordable housing, it's housing, period. Here in northern Nevada, the unemployment rate is under 3% for Reno, which is stunning, basically virtually no unemployment. But the cost of housing, as you look at this, what are your solutions?
I think you recall that I was actually the director of the Real Estate Institute in the College of Business for 15 years, and so I track what's happening in housing. And in 2008 and 2009, we were building in southern Nevada about 38,000 housing units a year. Today we're building 5 to 10. So it really is an issue of supply and demand. So we probably do need to be building more housing, but we need to look at how we're building it in a smarter way to ensure that we're not consuming water and that we're looking at ways of being more efficient and building the kind of product type that we need, maybe more dense development along transit corridors makes a lot of sense. But what folks don't understand is that government doesn't build the housing. Government sets the table for housing to be built in our communities, whether it's making sure that there's maybe trusts that are available for affordable housing, or that there's land made available, or that we work through the entitlement process to make sure that there's opportunities for properties to be built in our community that deal with affordable or workforce housing.
Would you want to see things go vertical?
Oh, absolutely. I think that's especially along transit corridors where there is transportation option. You look at a corridor like Boulder Highway, for example, you've got Nevada State College and the College of Southern Nevada at one end, but then you also have Boulder City, so you could actually be bringing folks up from Boulder City, go along the Boulder Highway corridor that could take you really through some connections all the way to North Las Vegas. So that almost seems like a great backbone for that to occur with housing along that corridor. And I know that in the city of Henderson, we're partnering with Nevada Hand and with St. Jude's to build a property along the Boulder Highway as well, to deal with and to provide support and services for kids who are aging out of foster care.
One of the other things that, as I talk to people in the construction industry, is chemicals not available, all kinds of different products not available, whether it's for roofing or other building materials. And if they are available, the costs are through the roof. I was at a furniture store in Reno, a national chain, of relatively high-end furniture. They told me, yes, we can get the couch to you in 7 months.
Yeah. And we're seeing that even with appliances, that you have to have a lead time if you're planning to purchase appliances for new construction.
So what does this do to the housing market?
Well, it makes it a lot more difficult. It certainly is challenging, and that's all supply chain issues that we need to really be addressing in this country, and I suspect it has to do with import-export as well.
Well, isn't it an irony, though, that this comes from the fact that we've dumped all this money into the economy over the last couple of years, over 2 administrations, and let's not blame just one, and you have all this money floating around, and all of a sudden you have supply chain issues because they can't deliver because they didn't expect that much money to be in the system.
And look at the auto industry with the chips. We really need to, and I know that there's in Texas they're building a plant for chips. I think in Arizona around the Phoenix area they're building a plant. So eventually we'll get ahead of this, but it's probably the growing pains of doing that and to bringing some things stateside.
All right, well let's put all this into your next run, and we'll talk about that after we take a time out.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Renee Summerauer, digital news anchor here at 7 at 7. Watch our streaming nonstop newscast immediately with your mobile phone. 7 at 7 is the new way for you to get every bit of local news you need in just 7 minutes. Breaking news, local neighborhood news, weather, and sports are just a click away. Reporters bring you all of what's happening in the Valley. From Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, YouTube, and more. Get every bit of local news you need from the RJ and LVRJ.com.
Each day, the Children's Advocacy Alliance partners with leaders, legislators, and families across Nevada to improve children's health, education, economic well-being, and safety. We recognize Nevada will be no better than the state of its children. Be a part of this change. Be a supporter of the Children's Advocacy Alliance. For more information, go to caanv.org.
I'm here at the Carson Valley Inn in Minden with Joey Whitaker. One of the things I love about the Carson Valley Inn here in beautiful downtown Minden is CV steak. I have eaten here so many times. Tell folks what they can expect when they come here to eat.
It's a beautiful room, great service. We have certified Angus beef, seafood, lamb, a great range of appetizers, and wonderful desserts. Jean-Michel's done a great job of selecting some beautiful wines for us. The customers love it, and we've got a great selection of cocktails as well. It's not a long way to get away to the Carson Valley Inn.
Modern boutique Ahern Hotel and Events Center in Las Vegas. Host meetings and events on 2 floors. Stay in luxurious rooms and suites. Unlimited branding opportunities. Regional Italian cuisine by Chef Mark Segrisi. Flexible event spaces. Full buyout options. Visit ahernhotel.com today.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Debra March. She is currently the mayor of Henderson, Nevada, but you want to be lieutenant governor. Why?
Yes. Well, I believe that leadership and experience do matter, and I believe that I have the experience and the background, having run the second largest city in the state of Nevada for the last 4.5 years. I believe that my background and experience across the state of Nevada really lends to being the next lieutenant governor. Many folks don't know my background. I actually ran the Real Estate Institute at UNLV for 15 years and worked on issues like land use and planning and housing affordability and sustainability and things of that nature. But prior to that, I actually started my professional career as a Nevada State Park Ranger. I was a park ranger at Red Rock Canyon and then later at Sand Harbor at Lake Tahoe. So I lived up in the Lake Tahoe, northern Nevada area for 2.5 years and became very familiar with this area. And then left there when my husband moved to Ely. I moved to Ely and became a social worker, and I actually ran the state welfare for 5 rural counties: Lincoln, Eureka, White Pine, Nye, and Lander. So my experience and background really lends a better understanding of the unique needs of our north-south urban rural experience that folks have in this state, and I think that I could bring a lot to the table on that front. But then moved to Southern Nevada and worked for the governor regulating the real estate industry, and then did the city of Las Vegas's economic development marketing before I went to work at the university, where I retired from UNLV to join the Henderson City Council. And so I've been involved with city government and governance and leadership for a number of years in our city.
Okay, so you are running as a Democrat.
Yes.
And the governor appointed a person to be the lieutenant governor after Kate Marshall went to D.C. She's a teacher. What are your thoughts about her? And obviously you're in opposition.
Yeah, you know, I can speak to you about who I am and what my experience is. And I know that actually last fall I had a conversation with the governor about this seat, and I let him know that I really wanted to complete my term as mayor of the city of Henderson because I think that there are a lot of things that I'm still completing, and I want to finish them as a mayor. And I know we're up for the Southwest Alliance for Excellence Pinnacle Award, and we should know fairly soon if we've received that award. And that award is actually the precursor to the Malcolm Baldrige Award, which is a significant accomplishment for a local government to achieve. Mostly it's corporations or hospitals that achieve the Malcolm Baldrige, and this is something that I've worked on for the last 10 years for the city of Henderson, with the city of Henderson, to achieve the highest level of leadership. I also wanted to complete my last State of the City, and wanted to open the Dollar Loan Center, our new arena in Henderson, and there's a number of other projects that we have in the works that I feel are part of the accomplishment and the commitment that I've made to the city of Henderson to be a premier community, and I'm committed to achieving those and delivering on the things that I committed to, and at the same time running for lieutenant governor, because I believe I can take those skills and experience and that background and translate that into serving the people of the state of Nevada.
Okay, so back to my original question though, which is, you're in a race, you're going to have discussions and hopefully debates, and you're welcome to debate on this program. What do you think of the current lieutenant governor and the job she's doing?
I really am not tracking her job, her performance, other than that, I have a very broad leadership background, and I believe leadership and experience matter. And I think that if something were to happen to the governor, I think you would have to reflect on who would you want to step in and lead the state.
Okay, what is your relationship with the governor? Because there are printed stories that say not so good, and that he was particularly unhappy with you getting the Raiders facility in Henderson. That wasn't exactly where he wanted it to be.
Actually, Steve and I talked many times about bringing that facility to Henderson, so I think that someone may have made that assumption, but the truth is we've had a good working relationship. We worked on public lands issues. We worked on, when he called me and said, listen, we need to set up childcare, within 12 hours Henderson had childcare set up right after the pandemic was declared, and we had to shut down so that we could have a place for teachers and, for nurses and doctors and our first responders, folks who are in Henderson that needed a place to drop their kids off so that they could go to work and continue to serve our community. So whenever he's called, we've absolutely responded as a city and stepped up. So that isn't the case. He and I have a good working relationship.
Okay, so he's in a tough position because and I couldn't give you a percentage, but there is a percentage of people that think that he's done an excellent job during this whole pandemic, and there is another percentage that thinks he's done a horrible job during the pandemic. And with what's going on a national level with the economy, the Biden administration, this could be a tough year for Democrats. So are you aligning yourself with the governor in his re-election campaign, or are you separating yourself out and running on your own cause here?
I'm running on my own, but I am supportive of the governor being successful. I believe that I need to show the world, show the people of the state of Nevada who Debra March is and why Debra March is the right answer for the future of the state of Nevada, and I'm committed 100% to do that and to let my voice be heard. And I can tell you, during the pandemic, Henderson really leaned in, and we made sure that our community was safe. In fact, public safety is a high priority in the city of Henderson. 60% of our budget is committed to public safety and keeping our residents safe. And during the recovery period, we actually have an 81% vaccination rate for first vaccinations for residents in our community. And part of the discussion that we've had with our residents was, listen, we want business to reopen, we want life to return to normal, so let's all lean in and accomplish that. And we've had huge success, and I'm so proud of the team that we've had working on this.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back more with Debra March. She's currently the mayor of Henderson, running for lieutenant governor after this time out.
Southwest Specialties has been making the homes and businesses of Nevada beautiful for more than 20 years. Their experienced designers and craftsmen create the walkways, backyards, water features, and a variety of outdoor cooking areas that add curb appeal and value to your investment. Call today or visit them at their website and see how they can make your outdoor spaces special. Southwest Specialties, creative, distinctive, beautiful.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years.
Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
Ahern Rentals began as Signal Gas Station on Las Vegas Boulevard. Founder John Ahern grew the business by offering rentals. His son Don built on John's legacy, growing Ahern Rentals into the largest independently owned American rental company, with 89 locations in 30 states. Don also brought his experience and vision to equipment manufacturing with Extreme Manufacturing and Snorkel. Today, Ahern Rentals continues to bring its family values to a new generation. Learn more at ahern.com.
The Do It Right guys at Nevada Heating have one mission. Your air conditioner breaks down today. We fix it today. Why sweat for days while your air is down when Nevada Heating can get the job done today and you can get cool again? For nearly 50 years, locally owned Nevada Heating has been getting the job done right. Call today at 323-5585 or see us online at nevadaheating.com.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Debra March. She is the mayor of Henderson and currently running for lieutenant governor. So as you look at diversification, not so much in Southern Nevada, because obviously you want diversification, although it's a giant hill, because when you have such a huge industry as gaming and tourism, that you can't really diversify away from it. When you look at diversification, do you think of it in terms of diversifying the tax base? Because if there's a problem, which we've seen sadly over the last 20 years, of whether it's a 9/11 or whether it's the recession or COVID, the gaming industry can be hit very hard. Tax revenues drop through the floor, which affects the services that can be provided. Diversification to me says diversify the tax base so that you have other businesses. In Northern Nevada, we've had a remarkable success rate with diversification, and that's shown in the fact that we didn't see services collapse.
Yeah, you know, when we went through the Great Recession and we looked at what was happening in our community and all across Nevada, really, we knew that we needed to do something different. In fact, when I came over from UNLV, we were studying the housing market, and only 13% of the workforce could afford to live in Henderson at that time, and we knew we had to do something about diversifying the economy. So we began to look at economy and tax base. So we had to start looking at what businesses and industries really belong, and working on helping some companies to expand, like Vodotech, and then in 2017, when I was elected mayor, I was actually invited back to a roundtable in Detroit, and it was part of City Lab, and I was on the roundtable with Michael Bloomberg, and the conversation really was, we need to be diversifying for industries of the future, how we attract industries that are going to be here long after we're gone as leaders. So I started to look at companies like advanced manufacturing, what we could do around the arena of healthcare, and also educating healthcare providers to create an environment that was attractive to folks coming into our community. And so we really have spent a lot of time working on bringing Haas Automation and Google to our community, but Vodotech and Lifeguard Defense, and there's so many other companies that we've worked on. And in fact, 4 years ago, we had no sports teams in Henderson. We now have 4 sports teams that call Henderson home. So we really have worked to diversify the base, to create opportunities. Certainly those sports teams bring tourism and recreational amenities and a real quality of life to our community as well. And then of course my commitment to also looking at what we could do on Water Street. And if you haven't seen Water Street in downtown Henderson, it's truly a game changer that people had told me it's impossible, it'll never happen because you have a jail down there, so it couldn't happen. But look at what Water Street, it's alive. And we have new restaurants and new investments, and of course an arena, and so much going on there. And then of course opening Dollar Loan Center has been truly a remarkable addition to the city of Henderson and has helped the district to come alive again. So it's very important that all of these things work together to create opportunity.
And you're seeing growth from the Apex Business Park all the way down to Partolas just bought 140 acres there by Gene. You know, the concern is, you know, we read that, you know, the water in Lake Powell and Lake Mead is such a great issue, and the lack of another wet winter. yet Southern Nevada Water Authority says, no, we're covered. What are your thoughts on that?
You know, it's a serious issue, and I think we need to take it seriously, truly. But what people need to understand is that only 1.9% of the water in the Colorado River comes to Nevada. And so there's this assumption that the people of Southern Nevada are lowering the water level. It's really a corridor, the Colorado River corridor issue that needs to be addressed up and downstream, including looking at the ranches and the farms that are maybe growing hay and exporting it to foreign countries, that's exporting water. We need to be looking at that differently. Henderson, well, all of Southern Nevada really.
That's quite a fight you're picking there.
Yeah, well, but it's our future, right? And so we need to look at, you know, in Southern Nevada we do return flow credits. So actually we're using about the same amount of water that we were using 20 years ago. But there's things we can do that are better. We can actually remove turf, and we have been removing turf in Henderson and in other parts of our community as well. And we're working with the LA water to help them build a system that they can start to use return flow credits as well. So instead of having the water come down the Colorado, use it once and then dump it into the ocean, now they can reuse it multiple times and then dump it into the ocean. So we're actually being more prudent and maybe holding more water upstream because of that.
Senator Reed has said to the Las Vegas Chamber of Commerce several years ago, before he passed, of course, that the water in eastern Nevada would be better used flushing the toilets on the Las Vegas Strip than growing alfalfa. Do you agree with him?
You know, I think that ship sailed, and I don't think that the Water Authority is looking at eastern Nevada for a water source.
Okay, and that's where we got to leave it. Please come back. We would love to have a Lieutenant Governor debate on this program. Sure. And so the offer is out there if you would like to take us up on it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It's a delight to be here today.
Thank you, and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
Early in the morning or throughout the night, professional truck drivers are on the job, serving you, safely moving freight that's crucial to our economy. From the oldest industries to our newest innovators, from the exotic to the everyday, trucks are everywhere, moving everything. Never afraid to embrace a future that makes Nevada and our nation stronger. Trucking moves America forward.
Take a look at Pro Group Management and see how your workers' comp requirements can be met head-on. By taking a proactive approach, Pro Group can assure that your company is meeting or exceeding state and federal standards. As you move forward in your industry, Pro Group moves with you, simplifying regulatory tasks, clearing the way so you can get the job done and look to your future success. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Retail's impact on Nevada's economy? Enormous. 8,600 businesses, large and small, employing 145,000 workers. And last fiscal year, retail paid tax on nearly $60 billion in sales. We're the Retail Association of Nevada. We support retail, we help it grow, and we mean business.
RANNV.org.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
As always, you can watch Nevada Newsmakers 24 hours a day at nevadanewsmakers.com. You can also check our archive going back to 2005 on our website. Again, nevadanewsmakers.com. We'll see you on the next show.